Perry Wingard's head hits the hardwood floor for the second time in 3 minutes. Oscar's hand twists deeper into his shirt collar. The fabric cuts against Perry's throat. He doesn't fight back. His palms stay flat on the floor. His breathing stays controlled. This is what happens when people mistake quiet for powerless. Kristen stands 6 feet away. Purple dress, arms crossed. Then she points, not at Oscar, at Perry. You see this? Her voice climbs. This is what I've been living with. A man who can't even stand up for himself. Oscar leans in. His breath smells like mint and confidence. You good, bro? You want to get up and handle this like a man? Hi, viewers. Have you ever stayed silent during a moment when everyone expected you to explode? Perry's eyes move to the coffee table. Papers scattered everywhere. Bills, junk mail, and one thing that doesn't belong. A leather portfolio. Dark brown, embossed gold initials in the corner. He shifts his weight. Not to stand, but to make sure his body blocks Oscar's view of it. The apartment used to feel bigger. 3 years ago when they moved in, Kristen called it their power couple penthouse. She loved the floor-to-ceiling windows, the open kitchen, the way the skyline looked at night. Now the same space feels like a courtroom. Every corner holds a memory of something she said that cut clean through. Oscar pulls Perry up by the collar and shoves him toward the door. Man, you need to leave, she's decided. You quit on life, she's decided. You quit on life, she says. Her voice drops lower, colder. You quit on me. Perry picks up the portfolio, tucks it under his arm. He doesn't explain, doesn't defend, doesn't even look at Oscar. He walks to the door, stops, turns his head just slightly. You're going to learn what you just did, Perry says. His voice doesn't shake. Not tonight, but soon. The hallway outside the apartment smells like cleaning solution and other people's dinners. Perry pulls out his phone. His hands don't tremble. 3 rings. It's me, he says. We need to move tonight. 12 hours earlier, Perry sat in a conference room on the 43rd floor of a building in Midtown Manhattan. Mahogany table, leather chairs. A woman in a gray suit slid a stack of documents across to him. She didn't smile, meaning he looked at the name printed at the top. He looked at the name printed at the top of the first page. Wingard Biotech Holdings, his father's company. The company his father built from a single research lab in Newark into a pharmaceutical empire that employed 4,000 people across 6 states. His father, who died 3 weeks ago without ever calling Perry back. Perry signed, and the woman collected the papers, slid them into a folder. You're now majority inheritor, controlling interest. The board meets in 29 days. You'll need to attend. Perry nodded. And Mr. Wingard? She leaned forward. Don't tell anyone yet. Not until the probate clears. Not until we secure the transition. He didn't plan to. Back in the present, Perry stands in the hallway outside the apartment. He can hear Kristen's voice through the door. She's laughing. Oscar's saying something. Or inside, the documents are clipped. Inside, the documents are clipped together. The top sheet has a number printed in bold. $450 million. Valuation. Current market estimate. Perry closes the portfolio, leans back, stares at the empty playground across the street. For 2 years, Kristen called him a quitter, said he gave up. Os said real men don't walk away from corporate jobs to work at nonprofits. She told her friends he was figuring things out. Code for failing. She doesn't know Perry left his 6-figure job because the 70-hour weeks nearly put him in the hospital. Doesn't know his doctor told him to choose between his health and his career. Doesn't know the nonprofit he started focuses on medical ethics. Doesn't care. What she knows is his salary dropped. And what she knows is he stopped wearing designer suits. What she knows is her friends started asking questions she didn't want to answer. So she found Oscar. Oscar, who drives a leased Range Rover. Oscar, who talks about his investments but never names them. Oscar, who showed up to Perry's apartment tonight like he owned the place. Perry's phone buzzes. A text from Marisol Duval, his father's estate attorney, the woman from the conference room. Documents filed. You're locked in. Then don't do anything dramatic. Perry texts back. I won't. He stands, walks toward the subway. The portfolio stays tucked under his arm. A man in a suit passes him, glances at the embossed initials, keeps walking. Perry doesn't look wealthy, not tonight. Jeans, old sneakers, a jacket Kristen once called college student chic in front of her sister. But the portfolio tells a different story, and Kristen saw it, just for a second. When Oscar shoved Perry toward the door, her eyes flicked to the gold initials. Her face changed. Not much. Just a tightness around her mouth, like she recognized something. Perry noticed. He always notices. The subway platform is nearly empty. One woman with headphones, a man asleep on a bench. Perry sits, waits. The train arrives. He steps on. Finds a seat in the back. The leather portfolio rests on his lap. Kristen doesn't know what's inside. Not yet. But she's starting to wonder. And that's the problem with people who underestimate you. The moment they realize they might be wrong, they panic. Perry pulls out his phone, opens his camera roll, scrolls back 3 months, finds the screenshot he saved. A calendar invite on the iPad he and Kristen share. The one she forgot to delete. Oh, rooftop 9 p.m. He didn't confront her that night. Didn't yell. Didn't ask questions. He took a screenshot. Saved it. Moved on. Documentation. Not drama. The train lurches forward, while Perry stares at his reflection in the dark window across from him. He looks tired. 2 years of being called weak will do that. 2 years of watching your wife fall in love with someone else in slow motion. 2 years of knowing and staying anyway. But Perry wasn't staying because he was scared. He was staying because he was patient. There's a difference. The train stops. Perry gets off, walks 4 blocks, enters a building with a doorman who nods at him, takes the elevator to the 9th floor, unlocks a door. The apartment is small, 1 bedroom, rented 2 weeks ago under his name only. Kristen doesn't know it exists. Perry sets the portfolio on the kitchen counter, opens it again, pulls out a single sheet of paper, a letter, handwritten, from his father. Perry, I know we haven't spoken. I know I wasn't the father you needed. But this company, it's yours now. Don't let anyone take it. And don't let anyone make you feel small for walking away when you needed to. That takes more strength than staying ever will. Perry folds the letter, puts it back. His phone rings. Unknown number. He answers. Mr. Wingard? A man's voice, formal, careful. Speaking. This is Daniel Chen, head of security for Wingard Biotech. Ms. Duval asked me to reach out. We've been monitoring some unusual activity. Perry sits down. What kind of activity? Someone's been asking questions. About your father's estate, about the transition, about you. Who? We traced it to an email account registered under your wife's name. But the messages are being sent by someone else. Perry's hand tightens on the phone. How do you know? The IP address doesn't match her usual devices, and the language patterns are different, more aggressive, less careful. Perry closes his eyes. Oscar. We don't have a name yet, but Ms. Duval wanted you to know. in case things escalate. They already have. Perry ends the call. Stands, walks to the window. The city stretches out below him. Millions of lights, millions of lives, millions of people who have no idea what's happening in this small apartment on the 9th floor. His phone buzzes again. This time it's a voicemail. He plays it. Kristen's voice fills the room, shaking, but not with sadness, with anger. Oscar says you've been hiding something. If I find out you lied to me, Perry, I swear. The message cuts off. Perry deletes it. Then he opens his contacts, scrolls to Marisol Duval, sends a text. Print everything. 5 years ago, Kristen Taylor walked into Perry's life like she owned the room. Charity gala, black tie, Perry's company sponsored a table. He wore a suit that fit but didn't feel right, stood near the bar, watched people network. Kristen appeared next to him, gold dress, confident smile. She didn't ask his name. She told him hers. Kristen, Ren, you look like you'd rather be anywhere else. Perry laughed. That obvious? Completely. She ordered a drink, turned to face him fully. So, what's your excuse? Bad date, boring job, existential crisis? All three. She stayed next to him for the rest of the night. Talked about her work in brand consulting, her goals, her refusal to settle. Perry liked her immediately. Not because she was beautiful, because she was certain. He wasn't. Perry spent most of his 20s unsure. Unsure about his career, unsure about his path, unsure about whether he even wanted the life his father mapped out for him. Kristen had no such doubts. She knew exactly what she wanted, and for a while, that included Perry. Year 1 felt like a dream. Kristen showed up to his apartment with takeout and ideas. She pushed him to ask for promotions, celebrated when he got them, introduced him to her friends as the guy who's going places. Perry proposed on a rooftop in Brooklyn, and she said yes before he finished the question. Year 2, the cracks started small. Kristen asked how much his bonus was. Perry told her. She paused, just for a second, then smiled. That's great, babe, really. But her voice changed, like she expected more. She started comparing him to her friends' husbands, casually, over dinner. Marcus just bought Jenna a new car, fully loaded. Or, did you see Trevor's promotion, VP at 32? Perry noticed, didn't say anything. Year 3, Kristen stopped pretending. They went to dinner with her college friends. One of them asked Perry about work. He explained his role, described a project he was proud of. Kristen cut him off. He's being modest. Perry's one of those guys who doesn't need to brag. She smiled at the table. Men like you don't win. You just survive. The table laughed. Perry didn't. That night, in the car, he asked her what she meant. Nothing, Kristen said. It was a joke. But her eyes said something else. Year 4, Perry hit a wall. His doctor used words like burnout and stress-induced hypertension. Recommended Perry take a leave. Reevaluate. Perry didn't want to reevaluate. He wanted to disappear. So he did. He quit his corporate job, started a nonprofit focused on medical ethics, took a 70% pay cut, worked out of a shared office space in Queens, came home energized for the first time in years. Kristen hated it. She didn't say it directly. She said it in small ways. I stopped asking about his day, stopped introducing him to new people, started checking her phone during dinner. One night, they went to a party at her co-worker's apartment. Expensive place, expensive people. Someone asked Perry what he did. Before he could answer, Kristen jumped in. He's between careers right now. Don't ask. The group moved on. Perry stood there, silent. Year 5. Oscar arrived. Kristen joined a boutique gym in Tribeca. Started going 5 days a week. Came home later. It was okay. "I'm fine," she said. "Just was okay." "I'm fine," she said. "Just taking care of myself. You should try it." One afternoon, Perry picked up the iPad they shared. A notification popped up. Calendar invite. "Oh, rooftop 9 p.m. He clicked it. The event was recurring, every Thursday, for 3 months. Perry didn't confront her. He opened his phone, took a screenshot, saved it to a locked folder. Then he went back to work. Oscar's real name was Oscar Fremont. Perry found that out later. Personal trainer turned business consultant. No office, no employees. Just a LinkedIn profile full of buzzwords and a leased car he parked in front of the gym. Kristen talked about him at first, casually. "Oscar says I should focus on my core." Or, "Oscar thinks I'm not reaching my potential." Perry nodded, kept quiet. Then the mentions got more frequent, more personal. Oscar grew up with nothing and built himself into something. That's real ambition. Perry understood the subtext. The night Perry came home early and found Oscar in the apartment, Kristen didn't look surprised. She looked caught, but not ashamed. Oscar stood in the living room like he paid rent. Confident, comfortable. He extended his hand to Perry. "You must be the husband." Perry didn't shake it. Kristen stepped between them, like we were just talking. "About what?" Perry's voice stayed level. "About us," Kristen said. "About how this isn't working anymore." Oscar crossed his arms. "Man, I'm just here to support her. She's been going through a lot." Perry looked at him, really looked, saw the performance, the rehearsed care, the way Oscar positioned himself between Perry and Kristen like a bodyguard. "You need to leave," Perry said. Oscar didn't move, and "I don't think that's your call." That's when Kristen made her choice. She turned to Perry, not Oscar. "You're the one who quit," she said. Her voice climbed. "You're the one who gave up on everything we built. You want to work at some nonprofit and pretend you're making a difference. Fine. But don't expect me to applaud you for it." Perry's jaw tightened. "I'm still your husband." "Barely." Oscar stepped closer, put his hand on Perry's shoulder, not gently. "Bro, you heard her." He shoved him. Perry hit the floor. His head shoved him. Perry hit the floor. His head bounced off the hardwood. He tasted copper. Blood from where his lips split against his teeth. Kristen didn't stop Oscar. She pointed at Perry. "You see this? This is what I've been living with. A man who can't even stand up for himself." Perry pushed himself up to his knees. Oscar grabbed his collar, pulled him up, shoved him again. Perry hit the wall, slid down. He could have fought back. He's 6'1". Oscar's 6'2". The size difference isn't the issue. But Perry made a choice. He stayed down. Because fighting Oscar would prove Kristen right. That he's reactive. That he's out of control. That he's the problem. So he absorbed it. The shoves. The insults. The humiliation of being beaten in his own home while his wife watched and did nothing. Oscar pulled him up one more time, walked him to the door. Perry grabbed the leather portfolio off the coffee table on his way out. Kristen's eyes flicked to it, just for a second. Her face changed. Recognition, confusion. But she didn't ask. Perry left, walked down the hallway, called Marisol. In the apartment, Oscar and Kristen celebrated. He heard them laughing as the elevator doors closed. Later that night, Perry sat in his new apartment, the one Kristen didn't know about. Opened the portfolio. Pulled out the documents. Wingard Biotech Holdings, majority inheritor, controlling interest. He thought about the 5 years, the slow erosion, the way Kristen chipped away at him piece by piece until she convinced herself he was nothing. Perry's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "This is Marisol. I've been reviewing the prenup you signed. Your wife's lawyer is going to have a very bad day." Perry smiled, just a little. Then he opened his laptop, logged into the shared cloud account he and Kristen still used, found the folder labeled Personal. Inside were photos, hundreds of them, Kristen and Oscar, dates, locations, time stamps. Perry didn't delete them. He downloaded them, saved them to an external drive, labeled it Evidence. Then he opened a new document, started typing, timeline, dates, screenshots, calendar invites, credit card statements showing charges at hotels Perry never visited. He worked until 3 in the morning, or asset protection. "I'm listening." "Your asset protection." "I'm listening." "Your wife can file for divorce, but she can't touch the inheritance. It's not marital property." "And the prenup you signed?" "It protects everything you brought into the marriage, including intellectual property and future earnings from entities established before the union." Perry closed his eyes. "The nonprofit?" "Protected." "The condo?" "I need to check the deed." "Already did. You're the sole owner. She was never added." Perry exhaled. Marisol continued. "But here's the risk. If she finds out about the inheritance before we finalize the estate transition, she can create chaos, media, public pressure, board instability. Your father's company is public-facing. Scandal damages stock value. So I stay quiet. You stay strategic." Perry hung up, opened his email, and the calendar invite. "Oh, rooftop 9 p.m. The calendar invite. "Oh, rooftop 9 p.m. He forwarded it to Marisol with one sentence. "She's been planning this for months." Perry leaned back in his chair, stared at the ceiling. Kristen thought she knew him, thought he was weak, thought he'd crumble. She had no idea what she just started. Perry's phone buzzed. Text from Marisol. "Check your email. To a Wingard Biotech board member. Subject to a Wingard Biotech board member. Subject line. Inquiry re. Perry Wingard estate status." Perry read it twice. The language was aggressive, demanding. Nothing like how Kristen wrote. This was Oscar. Perry called Marisol. "Oh, how did you get this?" "Our security team monitors any communication that mentions your name or the company. This one triggered an alert." "Can we trace it?" "Already did. Sent from a coffee shop in Lower Manhattan. Same location your wife's phone pinged 3 days ago." Perry's hand tightened on the phone. He's using her accounts. And she either knows and doesn't care, or she's letting him because she thinks it'll help her case. Perry ended the call, sat in the dark. Kristen didn't just betray him with Oscar. She weaponized him. Perry opened his contacts, scrolled to Marisol, typed a message. "Print everything." Perry stands outside the apartment building for 10 minutes before he goes inside. He's not stalling. He's preparing. The leather portfolio sits in his car. He's not bringing it up. Not today. Today is about belongings, clothes, documents, things Kristen can't use against him. He takes the elevator to the 8th floor, uses his key. The door opens. Kristen's in the kitchen, coffee brewing. She's wearing the white robe he bought her 2 Christmases ago. Her hair is pulled back, no makeup. She looks softer than she did 3 nights ago when Oscar had his hands on Perry's collar. "Hey," she says. Her voice is quiet, almost gentle. Perry doesn't respond. Walks past her toward the bedroom. Wait. Kristen follows him. Can we talk? Please? Perry stops. Turns. About what? About us. She steps closer. Not too close. Just enough to seem vulnerable. I know things got out of hand the other night. Oscar shouldn't have put his hands on me. Kristen flinches. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have stopped him. Perry watches her face. She's good at this. The soft voice. The apologetic eyes. She used to use this exact tone when they fought about small things. Dinner plans. Whose turn it was to do laundry. But this isn't small. I'm just here for my things, Perry says. I know. But can we sit? Just for a minute? I made coffee. Perry hesitates. Not because he wants to reconcile, because he needs to see what she's really after. 5 minutes, he says. They sit at the kitchen table. Kristen pours 2 cups, slides one across to him. Perry doesn't drink it. I've been thinking, Kristen starts, about everything, about how we got here. She looks down at her hands. I was angry, Perry. I felt like you gave up on us when you quit your job, like you didn't care about the life we were building. I cared about my health. I know. I get that now. She meets his eyes. But I didn't then, and I made mistakes. I pulled away. I let someone else fill the space you left. Perry leans back. Oscar. Kristen nods. He was just there, and he listened. And I know that's not an excuse. I know what I did was wrong. Perry stays quiet, lets her talk. But we can fix this, Kristen continues. We can reset. Start over. I'll end things with Oscar. Completely. And you can, I don't know. We can figure out what you need, what we both need. She reaches across the table, puts her hand on his. Perry looks at her hand, then at her face. What's your plan? Kristen asks. Financially, I mean, with the nonprofit and everything. Are you stable? There it is. Perry pulls his hand back. I'm fine. I'm not asking because I'm judging. I'm asking because I want to know if we can make this work. Long term. Perry stands. I need to pack. Kristen's face hardens, just for a second. Then the softness returns. Okay, yeah, of course. Take your time. Perry walks to the bedroom, opens the closet, starts pulling clothes off hangers, folds them, puts them in a duffel bag he brought. Kristen appears in the doorway, leans against the frame. Are you seeing someone? Perry doesn't look at her. No. You've been staying somewhere else. I checked our bank account. And you rented an apartment. Perry stops folding. Turns. You've been tracking my spending? We're still married, Perry. I have a right to know. Perry zips the bag, picks it up. You lost that right when you let Oscar put his hands on me. Kristen's eyes narrow. That's not fair. None of this is fair, Kristen. He walks past her, back to the living room. Grabs a box of books he left by the door. Kristen follows. You know what? Fine. You want to be bitter? Be bitter. Made it clear I wasn't enough. I wasn't made it clear I wasn't enough. I wasn't ambitious enough. Didn't make enough money. Didn't fit the image you wanted. That's not true. You called me a quitter in front of your friends. Multiple times. Kristen's jaw tightens. I was frustrated. You were cruel. They stare at each other. Silence fills the apartment. Finally, Kristen exhales. What do you want from me, Perry? Nothing. Nothing? Perry picks up the box, the duffel bag, walks to the door. If you leave now, I'm filing, Kristen says. Her voice is cold again. I'm getting a lawyer, and I'm taking half of everything. Perry stops, doesn't turn around. "You do that," he says. Then he leaves. 3 hours later, Perry sits in Marisol Duval's office. 43rd floor, floor-to-ceiling windows, a view of the city that costs more than most people's yearly salary. Marisol sits across from him, reading glasses perched on her nose. She's reviewing a document. Doesn't look up. "Your wife's going to file within the week," Marisol says. Her lawyer already reached out. Informal inquiry, testing the waters. "What did you tell them?" "Nothing, because there's nothing to tell. Yet." She sets the document down, looks at Perry over her glasses. "But once the estate clears probate, and it becomes public record, and when it does, she's going to know." Perry leans forward. "How long until that happens?" 4 weeks, maybe less." "And the board meeting?" 26 days from now. You'll need to attend. Introduce yourself. Confirm your position. The optics matter." Perry rubs his face. This is going to get messy. It already is messy. Marisol pulls out another document, slides it across the desk. "Look at this." Perry picks it up. It's a printed email, sent from Kristen's account, addressed to someone named Dr. Harold Chen, Wingard Biotech board member. The message reads, "I'm reaching out regarding Perry Wingard's recent involvement with the estate. I'm his wife, and I have concerns about his mental stability during this transition. I'd like to schedule a call to discuss." Perry's hands tighten on the paper. She didn't write this. We know. The IP trace confirms it came from a different device. Same coffee shop. Same time frame as the last one. Oscar. Most likely. Marisol leans back. He's fishing, trying to figure out what you inherited, trying to plant seeds of doubt with the board. Perry sets the paper down. Can we stop him? We can monitor him, document everything, and when the time comes, we can bury him. Marisol's voice doesn't change. Calm, clinical. But Perry, you need to understand something. If Kristen learns about the inheritance too soon, she'll control the narrative. She'll position herself as the abandoned wife, the woman you left behind now that you're wealthy. The media will eat it up, and the board will panic. Perry looks out the window. The city sprawls below. Millions of people living their lives. None of them know what's happening in this office. So what do I do? Perry asks. You stay quiet. You let her file. You let her lawyer send demands. And when the estate clears, we respond, not before. Perry nods. Marisol pulls out another folder, so opens it. There's one more thing. Perry looks at her. Oscar's been in contact with someone inside the company. We traced the email exchanges. He's been asking about shareholder votes, board procedures, transition timelines. Perry's chest tightens. Who's he talking to? We don't know yet, but we will. Marisol closes the folder. In the meantime, you need to be careful. Don't give them ammunition. Don't do anything that could be used against you. Perry stands. I won't. Marisol walks him to the door. Perry? He turns. Your father built something important. Don't let them take it because they underestimated you. Perry leaves the office, takes the elevator down, steps onto the street. The late afternoon sun cuts through the buildings. He walks 3 blocks, stops at a bench, sits. His phone rings. Unknown number. He answers. Mr. Wingard, this is Daniel Chen, head of security. I remember. We've isolated the contact inside the company. One of the junior staff members in communications. They've been feeding Oscar information about the estate transition. We're handling it internally. Good. But there's something else. Daniel pauses. We intercepted another email. This one's different. Perry's stomach drops. What does it say? It's from Oscar to Kristen. Subject line: he's hiding something big. The body of the email lists your recent movements, the law office visits, the meetings with Miss Duval. He's building a file. Perry closes his eyes. Daniel continues. He thinks you're hiding assets, and he's convinced Kristen she deserves half. Perry ends the call, sits in silence. His phone buzzes. Voicemail. He plays it. Kristen's voice, shaking, angry. Oscar says you've been hiding something. If I find out you lied to me, Perry, I swear to God. The message cuts off. Perry deletes it. Then he texts Marisol. Print everything. The divorce papers arrive by courier at 9 in the morning. Perry signs for them. Closes the door, opens the envelope. 37 pages. Legal language. Demands. Requests for emergency spousal support. A motion to freeze assets pending full disclosure. Page 12 stops him cold. Petitioner has credible concerns regarding respondent's mental stability and capacity to manage financial affairs during this transition period. Perry reads it 3 times. And a mental stability. That's Kristen's angle. Paint him as unstable, unfit, someone who can't be trusted with money. He calls Marisol. She answers on the first ring. You got them, she says. Not a question. Mental stability? Standard pressure tactic. They're fishing, trying to force you into an early settlement by making you look unreliable to the board. Perry sits down. His hands shake. Not fear. Rage. The kind that makes your vision narrow and your chest feel tight. No, they can't prove that, Perry says. They don't need to prove it. They just need to create doubt, and doubt is enough to make the board nervous. Perry ends the call. Stands, paces his small apartment. 4 walls, 1 window. This is what his life looks like now. He left a penthouse, left his wife, left everything familiar. And for what? For this. He sits on the edge of his bed, stares at his wedding ring, still on his finger. He hasn't taken it off. Not because he's holding on to hope. Because taking it off feels like admitting defeat. Perry's phone rings. Daniel Chen, security. We have an update, Daniel says. Kristen and Oscar are planning to attend the Founder's Legacy benefit. Perry's chest tightens. When? 2 weeks from tonight. Same night as the board introduction. Perry closes his eyes. Of course. The benefit is public. Press, donors, board members, scholarship recipients. It's the company's biggest annual event. Aunt Kristen's going to walk in like she belongs. She thinks I won't show, Perry says. Most people in your position wouldn't. Perry stands, walks to the window. I'm going. Are you sure that's... I'm going. Daniel pauses. Then we need to prepare. I'll handle security. Make sure there's no disruption. There's going to be a disruption, Daniel. I'm the disruption. Perry hangs up, sits back down. His head drops into his hands. For 2 years, he absorbed Kristen's insults. And he pointed at him while Oscar's hand twisted, pointed at him while Oscar's hand twisted in his collar. Perry's phone buzzes. Text from Marisol. Board vote scheduled for the night of the benefit. Proxy filing ready. Everything's in place. Perry doesn't respond. He opens his photo gallery, scrolls to a picture from 3 years ago. Him and Kristen. Vacation in Costa Rica. Her head on his shoulder, both of them smiling. He deletes it. Then he deletes every photo of them together, one by one. Methodically, until his gallery is empty except for the work documents and screenshots. His phone rings again. Unknown number. He answers. Perry Wingard? A woman's voice. Professional. Clipped. Yes. This is Sandra Okafor. I'm representing your wife in the divorce proceedings. Perry's jaw tightens. I have a lawyer. I know, but I wanted to reach out personally. Woman to man, professional to professional. She pauses. Your wife is willing to settle this quietly. No public filings, no media. You provide full financial disclosure, we negotiate a fair division, and everyone moves on. Fair, according to who? According to the law, Mr. Wingard. California is a community property state. What's yours is hers. What's hers is yours. Perry leans back. Tell my wife she'll get what she's entitled to, nothing more. Mr. Wingard, a judge will look at that pattern and see. A judge will look at that pattern and see someone trying to hide assets. Your client watched her boyfriend assault me and did nothing. A judge will look at that and see something too. Sandra's voice hardens. Are you threatening my client? I'm stating facts. Good luck with your case, Miss Okafor. Perry hangs up. His heart pounds. He stands, walks to the closet, pulls out a suit, charcoal gray, the one he wore to his father's funeral. He lays it on the bed, stares at it. 2 weeks. That's all the time he has. 2 weeks until the benefit. 2 weeks until Kristen and Oscar walk into his father's legacy event like they own it. 2 weeks until the board meets and Perry has to prove he deserves to lead. His phone buzzes. Text from Kristen. He almost doesn't open it. But he does. It's a photo. Oscar, wearing Perry's old dress shirt, the blue one Perry left behind. Oscar's smiling at the camera. Flexed arm, confident smirk. The caption reads, You left this behind, like everything else. Perry stares at the photo. His hands don't shake. His breathing stays even. He screenshots it, saves it to the evidence folder. Then he forwards it to Marisol with 2 words. Exhibit 12. Marisol calls immediately. That was stupid of them. Very. Perry, listen to me. What they're doing right now. The divorce filing, the mental stability claims, the taunting. It's all designed to make you react, to make you do something reckless that they can use against you. I know. So don't give them what they want. Stay calm. Stay strategic. And in 2 weeks, we end this. Perry looks at the suit on his bed. This isn't revenge, is it? Marisol's voice softens. Just slightly. No, Perry. This is correction. Perry hangs up, sits in silence. Correction. He likes that word better than revenge. Revenge is emotional, messy. Revenge is what people do when they lose control. Correction is what you do when you're in complete control and the other side doesn't know it yet. Perry opens his laptop, pulls up the Founders Legacy Benefit event page, reads the description. An evening celebrating innovation, legacy, and the future of medicine. He scrolls down, sees the guest list, board members, major donors, city officials. And at the bottom, a note. This year's benefit will honor the late Marcus Wingard and introduce the next generation of Wingard leadership. That's him. The next generation. Perry closes the laptop, stands, walks to the mirror, looks at himself, unshaven, tired, wearing sweatpants and an old t-shirt. This is not what the next generation looks like. Perry shaves, showers, puts on the charcoal suit. It still fits. He stands in front of the mirror again. Better. His phone buzzes. Text from Daniel Chen. The security briefing scheduled for tomorrow. 10 a.m. Don't be late. Perry texts back. I'll be there. Then he opens his contacts, scrolls to Marisol, sends one final message for the night. I'm ready. Perry fastens his father's cufflinks. Platinum, engraved with the Wingard family crest. He hasn't worn them since the funeral. Tonight they feel right. Marisol stands near the window of the hotel suite. She's wearing a black dress, professional, severe. She turns when Perry approaches. Ida, you look different, she says. Good different or bad different? Powerful different. She hands him a folder. This is the final filing. Your signature makes everything irreversible. The board vote, the asset protection, the settlement terms. Once you sign, there's no going back. Perry takes the folder, opens it, scans the first page. Legal language, terms, conditions. His eyes stop on one line. Respondent agrees to standard dissolution terms with no additional claims beyond statutory minimums. He signs. Marisol takes the folder, tucks it into her briefcase. The car's waiting downstairs. Daniel's team is already at the venue. They know what to do if things get complicated. They will. I know. They ride the elevator down in silence. Step into the lobby. A black car idles at the curb. The driver opens the door. Perry slides in. Marisol sits beside him. The drive takes 20 minutes. Traffic is light. The city glows outside the window. Perry watches people on sidewalks, living normal lives, going to dinner, catching trains. None of them know what's about to happen. The car stops in front of a building in Midtown. Glass exterior, modern architecture. Light pours from the entrance. People in formal wear stream inside. Perry steps out, adjusts his jacket. The suit is charcoal, perfectly tailored. He walks beside him. They enter through the walks beside him. They enter through the main doors. The lobby opens into a massive ballroom. Chandeliers hang from the ceiling. Round tables fill the space. A stage sits at the far end with a podium and a screen. Perry scans the room, sees board members, recognizes faces from the company website. Dr. Harold Chen, Patricia Langston, James Rutherford. Oh, they're talking in small groups, holding drinks. None of them have noticed him yet. Then he sees her. Kristen, purple dress, the same one from the night Oscar shoved him. Her hair is styled, makeup perfect. She's laughing, holding a glass of wine. And next to her, Oscar. Suit that doesn't quite fit, trying too hard to look comfortable. They're standing near the bar. Kristen says something. Oscar laughs, puts his hand on her lower back. Perry doesn't react. He walks to the center of the room. Marisol stays close. A woman approaches, late 50s, confident smile. Perry Wingard? Yes. Patricia Langston, board member. We've been expecting you. She extends her hand. Perry shakes it. It's good to finally meet you, Perry says. Patricia's smile widens. Your father spoke about you often. We're glad you're here. Other board members notice. Start moving toward him. Introductions, handshakes, polite questions about his work, his plans, his vision. Perry answers calmly. Who else? The murmur spreads like a wave. Else? The murmur spreads like a wave. Perry feels it, the recognition, the realization. He's not the failed husband anymore. He's the heir. Kristen's face changes. Confusion, then shock, then something colder. She starts walking toward him. Oscar follows. Perry doesn't move. Marisol steps forward. Intercepts them. Ms. Taylor, Mr. Fremont, this is a private event for board members, donors, and company leadership. Kristen's eyes flash. I'm his wife. You're his estranged wife, Marisol corrects. And you're here as a guest, not his family. Oscar steps closer. Who are you? Marisol Duval. estate attorney for the Wingard family, and you need to step back. The room is watching now, all eyes on the confrontation. Patricia Langston moves to the podium, taps the microphone. Good evening, everyone. If you could please take your seats, we're ready to begin. People move toward tables. Perry walks to the front, sits at the table reserved for family. Marisol sits beside him. Kristen and Oscar are escorted to a table near the back. Kristen's face is tight, angry. Oscar looks confused. Patricia begins speaking. Tonight we honor the legacy of Marcus Wingard, a man who built Wingard Biotech from a single lab into a global leader in pharmaceutical innovation. A man who believed in science, ethics, and the responsibility of wealth. The screen behind her lights up. Photos of Marcus, young, building the first lab, older, cutting ribbons, shaking hands with presidents and researchers. Perry watches. His throat tightens. He hasn't seen these photos in years. Patricia continues. Marcus's vision didn't end with his passing. It continues through his son, Perry Wingard, a podium. He doesn't look at Kristen podium. He doesn't look at Kristen, doesn't acknowledge Oscar. He looks at the room, at the board, at the people his father trusted. Thank you, Perry says. His voice is steady. My father and I had a complicated relationship. We didn't always agree. We didn't always understand each other. But we shared one belief, left behind. Not because I want power, but because I want to be a man. He pauses, lets the words settle. Tonight, I accept the responsibility my father left behind. Not because I want power, but because I want to honor what he built and protect the people who depend on it. The room applauds again. Perry returns to his seat. Patricia takes the podium again. We have one additional announcement. Due to recent concerns regarding external interference in company operations, the board has voted to implement new security protocols. This includes a formal restriction on unauthorized personnel accessing company information or representing themselves as affiliated with Wingard leadership. She looks directly at Kristen. Additionally, a request for a restraining order filed by Ms. Kristen Taylor has been reviewed and denied due to documented evidence of coordinated harassment and false claims submitted to board members. The room goes silent. Kristen stands. That's not true. Patricia doesn't flinch. Ms. Taylor, we have emails, IP traces, witness statements. You and your associate attempted to manipulate this transition through intimidation and misinformation. The board considers this matter closed. Oscar stands, starts moving toward the front. 2 security guards intercept him. Calm, professional. They escort him toward the exit. Oscar tries to resist. Man, get your hands off me. The guards don't respond. They walk him out, but the doors close behind them. Kristen's face crumbles. Not sadness, humiliation. She looks at Perry. He looks back. Says nothing. She grabs her purse, rushes toward the exit. The room watches her leave. Patricia continues like nothing happened. Now, let's discuss the scholarship fund. The event proceeds. Dinner is served. Speeches are made. Perry sits through it all. Calm, present. After the final speech, people begin to leave. Board members approach Perry, congratulate him, welcome him. Aunt Dr. Harold Chen shakes his hand. Your father would be proud. Perry nods. Thank you. When the room finally empties, Marisol approaches. It's done. What happens now? Her lawyer will receive the final settlement terms tomorrow morning. Standard dissolution, no additional claims. The condo reverts to you. Joint accounts are separated. She gets what the prenup allows. Nothing more. And Oscar? He'll disappear. and the men like him only stay when there's something to gain. Perry looks around the empty ballroom. Chairs pushed back, tables cleared, the remnants of a night that changed everything. 3 days later, Perry receives a text from an unknown number. It's a photo. Oscar, alone. Standing outside an apartment building Perry doesn't recognize. The message reads, "She kicked me out. Said I made things worse. This is your fault." Perry deletes it, blocks the number. A week after that, Perry's phone rings. Kristen. He almost doesn't answer, but he does. "Perry." Her voice is small, defeated. "What do you want?" I wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything." Perry says nothing. "I didn't know." Kristen continues. "About the company, about what you inherited. If I had known, you would have stayed." Perry finishes. "I know." Silence. "That's the problem, Kristen. You didn't love me. You loved what you thought I could give you. And when you thought I had nothing, you chose someone else. That's not fair. It's the truth." Perry hangs up. 2 weeks later, the divorce is finalized. Perry signs the papers in Marisol's office. Kristen signs remotely. They don't speak. Perry keeps the condo, sells it, uses the money to fund a scholarship program at 3 universities. The Marcus Wingard Ethics in Medicine Scholarship, full tuition, books, housing, for students pursuing careers in medical research and ethics. And the first recipient is a young woman from Newark, the same city where his father started his first lab. Perry attends the award ceremony, sits in the back, watches her accept the check. She talks about her dreams, her goals, her gratitude. Perry doesn't introduce himself. He just watches. Then he leaves. A month after the divorce, Perry drives to a small cemetery in New Jersey. His father's grave. Simple headstone. No elaborate decorations. Perry sits on the grass and opens the leather portfolio, pulls out his father's letter, reads it again. "Don't let anyone make you feel small for walking away when you needed to. That takes more strength than staying ever will." Perry folds the letter, puts it back. "I didn't let them," Perry says out loud. To the headstone, to his father, to himself. He stands, walks back to his car, drives home. Perry doesn't live in a penthouse anymore. He lives in a modest apartment in Brooklyn, 2 bedrooms, good light, quiet neighborhood. He works at his nonprofit 3 days a week, advises the Wingard Biotech Board 2 days a week, reserves weekends for himself. He doesn't date, doesn't rush into anything. He's rebuilding, slowly, deliberately. One afternoon, Perry sits at a coffee shop, laptop open, working on a grant proposal. A woman sits at the table next to him. She's reading a book, Medical Ethics, the same textbook Perry used in grad school. She looks up, catches him staring. "Sorry," Perry says. "I used to teach from that book." She smiles. Small world. They talk, just small talk. Nothing serious. She's a first-year med student. He tells her about his nonprofit. She seems interested, genuine. When she leaves, she hands him her card. "If you ever need volunteers, let me know." Perry looks at the card. Her name is printed in simple black letters. He tucks it into his wallet. Maybe later, not now. For now, Perry just breathes. The most dangerous mistake is thinking someone is powerless because they're quiet. Kristen learned that the hard way. She lost not because Perry became wealthy. She lost because she treated a temporary season as permanent truth. Perry wasn't broke. He was transitioning. He wasn't weak. He was recalibrating. And she made her final decision during the wrong chapter. Would you have exposed them publicly or walked away and let life handle it? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this story resonated with you, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next video. We share stories that inspire, challenge, and remind you that quiet strength is still strength. Share your thoughts below and inspire others who might need to hear this today.